Have you ever wondered if you're the asshole?
All the damn time.
Not me, because I know for sure. I don't have to wonder. Sometimes things that I quite enjoy, content I quite enjoy consuming is Am I the Asshole from Reddit. And we wanted to jump on that bandwagon a little bit because we enjoy them. So we hope that you guys do too. And if you do, you can let us know. And if you don't, I don't know, I don't know what to tell you. Get over it. Because we like it. Good one.
Thanks.
Good one. You have already pre-picked some, so I'll let you go ahead and go first. We'll get right on into it.
The first one I have is, am I the asshole for correcting my ex's new wife?
Oh, I love the titles because sometimes they're misleading.
Right. I am 48, female, and was married to my ex, Jim, 49, for 20 years. We have 3 kids, 22 female, 20 male, 18 male, and have been divorced for about 5 years. Both of us are now remarried, but we maintain a good relationship for our kids and because we do like each other. We divorced because Jim was a bad husband and not a great dad when we were together. He worked long hours to build a wonderful career while I had to neglect my career to be there for our children. He didn't truly understand until it was too late. He provided for us and still does provide for our kids. I'm grateful for everything he did, but admit that I resented him during our marriage because I had to watch his career take off while mine, the same career, stalled. For a little more context, I married a mutual friend, David, 50, of Jim and me. We were both divorced, no cheating was involved, and my ex has never had an issue with it because he knows that we didn't cheat. We both had a conversation with him at the start of the relationship, and he was actually happy for us. 4 years ago, Jim met Kara, 34, and they got married after 2 years. It's her first marriage, and they had their first baby last year. Can you imagine? You've got like an 18-year-old and you just started over. As I mentioned, Jim and I have a great relationship that includes monthly dinner with our children and just us. We have been doing this since we separated 6 years ago, so our children understand that we are still a family and it allows our kids an opportunity to share things with their parents and siblings without anyone else. The issue came up on Easter, and I'm not sure if I'm the asshole or justified. We were all at my former mother-in-law's house for the holiday, and Kara was going on and on about what a wonderful husband and father Jim is to her and their daughter. I don't care because I know my ex has more time now than he did when our children were younger. I didn't really say anything until Kara looked directly at me and asked in front of the entire family why I ever gave Jim up. She also made a comment about me being too busy falling in love with my husband's best friend. I simply looked back at her and said, "You know, Kara, he wasn't always a great husband and is only so wonderful now because I was willing to make a ton of sacrifices so he could have a successful career. But don't worry, you're very welcome for that." Almost everyone laughed, including Jim, but Kara was pissed and texted me later that night to tell me how hurt she was that I insulted her and her husband at Easter dinner and said I shouldn't have even been there. I ignored her text at first, but she called the next day to continue the conversation. The conversation eventually turned to me explaining that my marriage to Jim and her marriage are very different, and while I'm happy that they are happy and have a great life, she doesn't get to rewrite history or comment on the type of husband Jim was to me. I reminded her that Jim and I have spent many years working through our crap, and while she may think she's funny, she just comes off as insecure. So, am I the asshole? Then, edited to add, "Thank you, kind strangers, for your replies. I've tried to read as many as I could and respond to some as well. I have to say, if I could go back and repost this, I would have used gender-neutral terms. It was really shocking how many people seemed to comment on my resentment toward my ex-husband and how I didn't seem to understand the sacrifices he made for our family. I wonder how many people would have felt that way had the situation been reversed and that my ex was the one full of resentment. Either way, I'm happy I posted because I called Jim today and we talked about her crappy comment. He shared with me a little bit, and I also told him about this post, which he has read. Some comments that he asked me to include are that he laughed at my concern or at my comment because it was completely true and said that the money he spent on therapy to figure that out was well worth it. He also said that even though his wife is younger, he thinks that her perception has more to do with the fact that this is her first marriage and it can be hard for her to relate. He did tell me that they spoke about it that night and that he basically said the same thing I said the next day and that she sort of understands, but again, it is difficult for her because she wasn't there for it, and he thinks she's a little insecure about how good of a relationship he and I have now. He did tell her that we worked really hard on that relationship and it took many fights, therapy, and years to get to that place. It was a really good conversation and a good reminder that all relationships need work. When we got divorced, neither of us saw it as an end to our family, but as a new chapter. He said he would continue to stress the fact that Kara is an extension of our family and not a new family.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, she's been voted as not the asshole.
Yeah.
I don't think she is either.
I don't either.
Honestly, I
feel like that is a very, very healthy way to handle all of that.
Right. Kudos on you for trying to maintain a relationship for the betterment of your children.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to...
Even though now your children are legally adults.
Right. That's fantastic. And the fact that you're still involved in family dinners, like holiday dinners with the ex-in-laws, man.
Yeah.
Man. You know what? Not the asshole. I don't think
not everybody gets that.
The new wife, kind of the asshole.
I mean, yeah, I think a lot of it is, like she said, she does seem very insecure. And because she's never known a relationship like that, and she's never known her husband to be like that,
right?
It's probably difficult for her to imagine that he ever was like that,
right?
And so it just seems bizarre to her that anybody else would throw somebody so great away, even though they put in the work for him to be a better version of himself.
And that's what I think, like, trying to tiptoe around things here. People don't realize that each relationship a person has builds, it's like Legos.
Mm-hmm.
Or better analogy, it's like a snowball.
Yeah.
Like, the more they go through, the more they experience, the more they learn.
Yeah.
They...
Honestly, incredible for her for not ever knowing a bad relationship.
Right. Right. And it's funny to me that, like, people will start dating someone but know their ex and be like, man, he's amazing. Like, what was the issue?
Yeah.
Whatever. But, like, because I'm oh so sure my ex-husband, I'm not going to say that he's completely changed, but I'm sure that there are some differences.
Probably.
I mean, hell, it's been
I'm not afraid to say. I would venture a guess as saying probably not.
I'm sure there are some differences.
I'm sure that there are, because, that's been quite some time.
Yeah. And
to not have grown at all would be an anomaly, I think.
I mean, in some of the conversations that I've had with my oldest and hearing some of the things, like, I do see that there has been some changes,
positive changes. Yeah.
And I'm not going to say he's not I don't think he's the same exact person he was then.
Probably not.
But
there are some things. We're not going to get into it here, but there are some things. Oh, lordy. Am I the asshole for snitching on my class? This was so... I've, like, skimmed this, and I was like, this is so stupid. Okay. Before I start, I need to give some context. In my high school, it's forbidden for students under 18, so almost everybody, to leave school grounds for as long as they have class. This is mainly because, in theory, your school's responsibility... You're the school's responsibility whilst you are meant to be in class. So, unless your parents pick you up or something, if you leave school and something happens to you, it's on the school. Hence, you can't leave. However, it's rather easy to leave. Since the main entrance is the only obstacle a student has in order to leave the building, all you have to do is wait for no one to be near it, and you can just dip. This means that obviously a lot of students leave, and unless you're caught in the act, teachers barely bother to actually check if you've left with parent permission or not. This week was an exam week, since it's the final week before Christmas break. And thus, many of my classmates decided to either come only for the exam and remain at home the rest of the time, or leave right after the exam. They did this so they'd have more study time at home, and since this week we barely did any work other than the exams, basically a lot of people were skipping non-exam classes. I did get pretty fed up by this, since borrowing, which I read the comment because I was like, what does that mean? Barring, not borrowing.
Okay.
Barring my friend group and a couple of girls and the few boys in my class, almost everyone was doing this. I found it unfair since these people were breaking the rules whilst we were abiding them. It's very poorly written. And they were the ones who were getting more study time. I decided to tell my head teacher, since I guess this is not the U.S.
I was under that impression,
yeah,
with the use of whilst.
I thought it was just they put prompts into AI, honestly. Let's see. Okay, so I decided to tell my head teacher since I was unhappy with the situation, and sure enough, he took action. He told us all that from now on, unless you didn't come to school for the whole day, you had to justify why you had left school, and if you failed to justify it, you would receive a written paper, which your parents had to sign, and if you received more than 3, you were expelled. This didn't sit too well with most of my classmates, and they confronted me about it on Thursday. They said it wasn't my business to interfere on why they didn't go to class, and that from now on, they would have to basically attend to all classes, even if a teacher was absent or something. I told them it gave them an unfair advantage. It really didn't. But they still said that it wasn't my business, and that if I found it unfair, I could just do it instead of snitching to the teacher. Most people in my class seem to not be on my side, borrowing my friend group. Even people who don't skip seem to be against me, since they agree that it wasn't my business. But am I the asshole here? I just don't see how it's fair they get to skip class and have more study time whilst we stay at school for the whole day. Sure, it's none of my business. There, you just answered your own question. And some people might want to leave for other reasons, but that's a minority. I know most of them do it to study at home because they've said it themselves.
Do they, though?
You're the assholes. Them skipping is none of your business.
Right.
It's not like they're cheating on exams or anything. They're using their time wisely to study. You sound awful. It's barring my friend group, not borrowing. You're the asshole. Good way to make enemies at school and become disliked by others. And kids can be really mean and make the rest of your school years hell. You're the asshole. Nobody, and I mean nobody, likes to snitch in the class. It's their own fault and responsibility they're skipping school, but it has nothing to do with you. So why make it your business? Let's go. Hold on. You're the asshole. You are a rat. You're the asshole, and you've managed to turn everyone against you for the rest of the school year. You could have left it alone. It wasn't hurting anyone, and it sounds like people actually wanted to study. So you were feeling petty and vindictive and decided to go snitch just because you could. Enjoy the consequences of your actions. You're the asshole. You sound fucking insufferable.
Right. Definitely
the comment under that, I don't know why, but their use of the words whilst and hence already had me rolling my eyes. This reminds me of that time that someone put a certain type of video in place of Macbeth and somebody else went and snitched on it, and then the whole class got mad.
It reminds me of a time that somebody was having a birthday party and someone didn't get invited, so someone's boyfriend decided to call everybody's parents.
Same someone that snitched about the video.
And tell everybody's parents that there was going to be drinking at this party.
I'm honestly surprised those two did not end up married because
well, guess whose parents got a phone call but also still got to go to said party. However, I was mandated to come home and not spend the night, and I had to take my younger next door neighbor with me. So anyway, all right, you ready for me to go to the next one?
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for telling my daughter-in-law that I will never be her mother and to leave me alone? This is mostly about my daughter-in-law, Kat. Her mother ran out on her when she was a child and she went into foster care. According to my son, she's currently seeing a therapist. My issue with Kat is that she has repeatedly stomped on my boundaries. She's a very touchy person. She refuses to call me by my name and only refers to me as mom. First and foremost, unless you are told to call your in-law mom, don't do it. I don't call my mother-in-law mom. I accidentally did it one time and it just felt all kinds of wrong and I immediately apologized. Hold on. I correct her every time since I'm not comfortable being called mom by her and I want her to use my name. There have been multiple times where she's asked inappropriate questions, mostly about why I'm not close to my own mother. For context, my mother was horrible. Kat keeps pushing for details, and I insist I should get closer to her because family sticks together. She basically tells me to forgive my mom, and she doesn't understand not being close with one's parents. I've told her to drop the topic multiple times, and she refuses. Because of all this, I'm not a huge fan of hers. I've spoken to my son about it, and he asked me to be patient. I've also talked to Kat multiple times and asked her to respect my boundaries. She always says she will, but then goes right back to ignoring them. This is where I might be the jerk. My daughter, Sam, who is 20, and I were taking a weekend trip. Sam has a medical issue and needs to see a specialist a few states over. She hasn't disclosed this issue to the rest of the family yet, but she plans to when there is a firm plan. Somehow, word about the trip got back to Kat, and she called me asking why she wasn't invited. I told her it's an important trip and not a fun one. She accused me of lying, claiming it was a mother-daughter trip that she was excluded from. I told her again, this is not a girls' trip. She wouldn't let it go and started demanding that she come, saying that she's my daughter and needs to be there. I said no again. She kept insisting, saying I am her mom and she has to come on this trip since she is my kid. This is when I snapped. I told her I will never be her mother. Just because she married my son does not make me her parent. I told her to leave me the fuck alone and that even if this was a mother-daughter trip, she still wouldn't be invited because she isn't my kid, and then I hung up. My son says I need to apologize and invite her, that I'm a huge dick to her, that I was way out of line and need to make it up to Kat. The situation has spread to the rest of the family and everyone seems to have their own opinion. Sam is getting flack too, which isn't helping, especially since she doesn't want to disclose the reason for the trip yet. Am I the asshole? Am I being an asshole and need to apologize even though those are my true feelings on her trying to make me her parent? Voted not the asshole.
I would say, for the most part, not the asshole, because I understand where she's coming from, but I also kind of understand where the other girl is coming from, because, like, she's trying to simulate what she didn't have, and for her, it's rejection. She's being rejected. She was rejected by her mother, and now she's being rejected by her husband's mother.
Right.
But she was I think if she approached it differently.
Sorry to say, she's going about it the wrong way.
Yes. She's being very pushy.
Yes.
And like, it's like, girl, if I've told you something is not your business, it's not your business.
This comment, not the asshole. Your daughter-in-law is trying to use you to heal her mother wound instead of trying to build a relationship with you organically. She sounds insufferable, to be honest. And then this says, Kat was squeezing the original poster so hard that even Lenny from Of Mice and Men was impressed.
Oh my God.
You don't have a daughter-in-law problem, or you don't just have a daughter-in-law problem, you also have a son problem.
Yeah.
He is clearly enabling whatever delulu world she lives in. Keep enforcing your boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, as someone with a mother-in-law, did you just take another one?
No, I just finished the one I started earlier.
Oh. As someone with a mother-in-law, I love my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
I couldn't love this woman more if she had pushed me out her vajayjay herself.
Right.
I don't call her mom.
Right.
I don't do it. Because it's not comfy.
Right.
I mean, if she were to look at me and say, it's okay, I probably still wouldn't.
I would never call either of his moms, like stepmom or mom.
It's not comfy.
I just call them their names.
Do I see her as my mom, as a mom? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But she's, I don't call her that. Yeah. Would I be offended if she were to decide to take my sister-in-law on a trip? No. I because I'm not,
Yeah.
Now, if this were a trip,
if it was considering the dynamic, I don't think she would exclude you. Like, I think she would consider you like a daughter.
She does.
Yeah, but if it was something that was like important like that really wasn't like, oh, we're just going to the beach,
right? If I were to be told this isn't a fun trip, it's kind of important, I'd be like, oh, okay, and I would drop it.
Yeah. I would just be like, I'm gonna assume that you're gonna share that information with me whenever you're ready. Yeah.
It's whatever.
But yeah, I definitely think, girl, is she being a little too pushy? And it's blowing up in her face, and she's upset about it because she's seeing it as rejection. And it's not rejection, it's setting a boundary of,
right.
Just call me by my name.
Right.
And don't create a role for yourself that doesn't exist.
Right. You got another one?
Yeah, I got a good one. This one's kind of... Am I the asshole for having my mother yell at me for having intercourse with my girlfriend in my own apartment?
I saw this one.
When we're both 26 years of age. So I, 26 male, live with my girlfriend, 26 female, in an apartment that I pay for. We've been together for 3 years, and our relationship is great. We're both working professionals, fully independent, and like any normal couple, we have an active sex life. Enter my mother, 54 female. She's always been a little overbearing, but since I moved out when I started dating my girlfriend, I thought things had gotten better. Apparently, I was wrong. Last weekend, my mom came over to drop off some homemade food, which was nice, I'll give her that. I had told her that she could stop by after 4 p.m. since my girlfriend and I were having a lazy morning. But of course, she decided to show up 2 hours early with her spare key, which she has, quote unquote, for emergencies. Well, my girlfriend and I were in the bedroom, clearly busy, when we heard my mother banging on the bedroom door. She was shouting my name and saying things like, "I know what you're doing in there, and have some respect." I scrambled to throw on some clothes, went out and asked her what the hell she was doing here unannounced. She started yelling at me about how it was, quote unquote, disgusting and inappropriate to be doing that, quote unquote, while guests are over. I reminded her that this is my apartment. She wasn't supposed to be here yet. We're two consenting adults. She was having none of it. She called me disrespectful, said I had no manners, and even told my girlfriend that she should be ashamed, which, in parentheses, which, what the fuck? My girlfriend just walked out of the room, grabbed her keys, and left because she wasn't dealing with that nonsense. I ended up arguing with my mom for 10 more minutes before telling her to leave and return the spare key. She refused at first, but I stood my ground until she finally handed it over. She left in a huff and later texted me saying she was deeply disappointed in how I spoke to her. Now my dad and sister are both telling me that I was too harsh and that I, quote unquote, shouldn't have put her in that situation. I argued that she put herself in that situation by showing up unannounced and barging into my home. The overwhelming is not the asshole.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody says, not the asshole. I'm a mom of a 25-year-old son and I have an emergency key. I would never let myself into his place unless he gave me permission. If I was coming over, I'd still knock. He's even told me to just come in. My son is not an extension of me. Just because I grew his eyeballs doesn't give me jurisdiction over the entirety of his life. My job was to raise an adult, and I did that. Now I give him the basic courtesy and respect I would give any other adult. If I did walk onto that, I would turn around and sneak out, never admitting I was there. I certainly wouldn't shame them for having a normal, healthy adult relationship. Do not give the key back and do not ever apologize to her over this. She was completely wrong in every moment of the situation. Somebody
Agreed.
said, just because I grew his eyeballs is definitely one of the weirdest descriptions of motherhood I've ever read.
Look, TJ and I were just having this conversation the other day because there's a girl that I watch on like Facebook Reels and TikTok where she like plays out different scenarios of like mother-in-laws inserting their opinions on parenting and, you know, shit like that, like demanding that they're in the delivery room and this, that, and the other, like the son or the husband's mom being this way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, as a boy mom,
mm-hmm.
I don't foresee myself ever being that type of mom. Like what he does as an adult is on him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
You're not one of those like weird boy moms that is like low key in love with their son.
Right.
It's like it's genuinely like emotional incest.
Yeah.
It's gross.
I can't even imagine. Like
some boy, not all. Some, you know, there are a lot of boy moms who are like totally chill and like fine. But there are some boy moms.
I'm not going to force myself into, because like one of the comments that was made, like one of the skits that she did, like the husband's mom was like trying to push her way into the delivery room.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, your mom's getting to be in there to support you. It's only fair that he has me to be in there to support him. He's not on the table shitting out a baby.
Yeah.
What does he need support for?
Right.
Like, he's there to support her.
Exactly. He's got things to do.
Now, like, there's no reason. Like, I didn't want my own mom in the delivery room with me for any of my kids.
Yeah.
It was literally me and their dad.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law never even mentioned being in the room. And like, it's just, no, that's a very intimate and personal time that I don't want some woman. Look, I didn't even want my own mom seeing my vagina.
Right.
I can't handle that. Like, no. But like,
I fear my mother would have me want a drink.
Ugh. But it's that shit. That shit. All right, we ready for my next one?
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for how I handled this situation? My daughter, 24 female, is on antidepressants and lives at home rent-free while saving for her own place. She keeps her pills in her bathroom with the lid loose because it's hard to open, and since she's the only one using it, it's never been a problem. My son, 23, male, and his girlfriend, 22, female, are temporarily staying with us until their condo is ready. Their bathroom sink downstairs is small with no counter space. So when the girlfriend wanted to dye her hair, I told her to use my daughter's bedroom or bathroom, as she has a double sink with countertops, without checking with my daughter first, who was home in her room. About an hour later, I overheard my son telling his girlfriend he didn't know how to break something to his sister. He finally told me his girlfriend had accidentally knocked over my daughter's pills, and some fell into the sink where she was dyeing her hair. I said I'd talk to my daughter, but my son insisted. I heard him enter her room with an attitude saying, "Don't start acting like an ass," but his girlfriend knocked your pills into the sink. My daughter was furious, grabbed the remaining pills, and stormed off. My son blamed her for leaving the lid loose. When she asked why they were even in her bathroom, I explained, and she got angrier, saying they could have used theirs or mine. I told her I hadn't expected this and she needed to calm down. She called my son an asshole and shut herself in a room. I urged my son and his girlfriend to apologize to her because she should have asked to move the pills, and him because he escalated the situation. He eventually cooled down and apologized, but his girlfriend refused. My son then demanded my daughter apologize to his girlfriend. My daughter refused, saying she had nothing to be sorry for. The girlfriend chose to stay elsewhere until their condo was ready. My daughter spoke with her psychiatrist and replaced her medication. My son still insists I should make my daughter apologize. I did tell my daughter she could have reacted more calmly, but she maintains that they should have asked her to move the pills or at least approached her without assuming she'd go crazy. She also points out that she never said anything to the girlfriend, only her brother, and that I never should have let them use her bathroom in the first place. So I completely mishandled this. Now, face value, I don't think she's the asshole.
No, I think the brother should have approached her with it differently.
Right.
I think that could have avoided a lot.
Reddit has labeled her as the asshole.
Oh, okay.
Comments. Your daughter is living there rent-free, but that doesn't mean she isn't allowed basic respect.
Yeah.
You should have consulted with her before allowing the girlfriend to use what is normally her own bathroom. Even if you were going to pull the my house, my rules, you should have at least given her the opportunity to remove anything she didn't want to get damaged, because hair dye is messy as fuck.
Yeah.
You should also be standing up for your daughter. She literally did nothing wrong. Her brother came in and immediately accused her before delivering the news with no apology. Where is the accountability? You told your daughter she should have acted more calmly. Are you serious? She was the victim of 2 rounds of negligence and verbally attacked for it. I'm starting to see why she's on antidepressants. Yeah. This part right here, the fact that the son gets off scot-free and the daughter gets told she's not in the right. Like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't see... As a mom, I wouldn't have thought anything about her medication being there. I kind of feel as though the girlfriend should have taken inventory of what was around.
Yeah.
And moved shit out of the way.
That's probably what I would have done. Is looked around to see anything that I could, because I'm quite clumsy.
I don't think that the daughter is the asshole at all. I don't think she's in the wrong at all. And the son tried to apologize, but he didn't go the right way about it.
Yeah.
I don't think the mom's the asshole here either, though.
No, but I do think because it is the daughter's, personal bathroom, and, it's her bathroom.
Yeah.
I feel like she should have at least been alerted to.
I started to say, at least said, hey, go ask her if you can use her bathroom.
But other than that, yeah, it feels like it was all just communication issues. The whole thing could have been avoided.
Right.
All right. I have not glimpsed this, but I have read one of the comments. So, am I the asshole for hurting my father's mistress/wife? When I was 20, my family found out that my dad was cheating on my mom with our maid. They obviously got divorced, but since he stated that he was in love with the maid, the entire family did everything they could to secure our family wealth. Dad was disowned by his parents, and bottom line, he was left with nothing. After all of this, I was really traumatized and bitter. This was my dad, my main role model, my hero, and he was also the one to destroy our family. I admit that he really tried hard to keep contact with me and to explain to me that he still loved me very much and it had nothing to do with me, but I did not want anything to do with him. I cut him off entirely and refused any kind of communication with him for the past 9 years. Back then, I told him that he was dead to me, and for his sake, he should consider the same. Pretend he did not have a biological daughter anymore, and go play house with his whore and her bastard daughter. I know he still kept tabs on my life, and each year he would send me messages on Christmas and my birthday, but I never responded. 6 months ago, I had a bad accident. I was driving home when a drunk driver hit me full force. The doctors let my family know that the injuries that I sustained were really bad and that they were doing everything in their power to save my life, but they should be prepared for everything. Luckily, I fully recovered, but my dad has been insane ever since and trying to mend our relationship. He came to the hospital almost every day while I stayed there, but me refusing to see him did not make him understand that I want nothing to do with him. I recently changed my mind and decided to confront him and his mistress, who is now his wife. Because some relatives told me that what the woman has been saying about me and my family. She has been talking shit, saying that it is not my fault for acting like this because I learned this from my family, from my mom and grandparents, and they are to blame for me being cruel. After hearing this, I could not believe the audacity of this whore, which, I mean, this is what's written. I probably wouldn't have used that language, but... So I agreed to meet my dad and her and set things straight. I think they got the wrong impression because when I went to meet them, they came along with the daughter and her husband. They were so disgusting. The woman had a stupid smile on her face and told me how happy she is that after all this time, I was giving them a chance, and how happy she is that her daughter will finally have the sister she always wanted. I made it clear that I am not giving them any chance. I told her that I know everything she has been saying, and if I learnt cruelty from my family, then her daughter must have learnt from her that being a whore and sucking your boss makes you progress in life. I also told her that thank God she does not have a uterus anymore, so she cannot taint my bloodline with her creatures. I told the girl's husband to watch out because what can be expected from such disgusting women? Before leaving, I told my dad that he has 2 options. Either consider me dead or divorce his joke of a wife. Cut ties with that joke of a family and come back into our lives. He told me that he cannot let me go, that I'm his daughter, and that last year has been torture not being close to me. Again, I told him that if he expects forgiveness, he knows what to do, and if he really loves me that much, he will choose me this time. My grandparents agreed with my actions and are hopeful that maybe their son will come back to his senses and come back to his family. But one of my aunts, the dad's sister-in-law, said that it was a low blow for me to mention her incapacity of having more children, that I may have hurt her with my words. Honestly, I do not care. She hurt me more when she destroyed my family, so her struggles or hurt do not move me at all. Am I the asshole? The top comment says, OP said, when they go low, I'm taking the expressway in hell.
Listen, part of me is like, you're a little fucking harsh.
It feels a little like I'm just being petty to be petty and be,
but your feelings are valid.
Yes. Yeah, this makes sense. Your father and that woman are trying to get on good terms with you as a first step to get back in good terms with your father's parents so they can get money. That's why they won't leave you alone. They want back in your grandparents' will.
Now, that's a bold accusation, though.
It makes sense, though.
It does, but...
Yeah, somebody said, not the asshole, you're brave. Don't play with family cheaters.
All right, so I got 2 more. I can come up with more, too, if we need to. Which one do we want first? Family related? Kinda. Or, friend related?
Do friend related.
Am I the asshole for refusing to take my shoes off in my friend's house, causing his wife to cancel the D&D session for everyone?
Oh, no.
I, 38 male, was invited to a D&D session with 4 other people at my friend's house, 34 male. When I got there, his wife answered the door and immediately asked me to take off my shoes because they have a strict no shoes policy due to them having a crawling baby. I explained that I have a medical condition called epidermolysis bullosa simplex, or EBS, which makes the skin on my feet extremely fragile. Even mild friction or pressure can cause painful blisters and tears, so I have to wear supportive shoes with cushioned orthopedic insoles at all times, even indoors. Mm-hmm. Walking barefoot or just in socks causes me pain and can lead to bleeding. She suggested that I put grocery bags or socks over my shoes, but I told her that's unsafe for walking and honestly just insulting. She said she can't compromise her baby's health for my comfort. When Alex came to the door, he told me to just deal with it for a couple hours, which is the friend. Mm-hmm. Or I wasn't welcome inside. I told him I wasn't going to risk injuring myself over a D&D session, and if my shoes were that big of an issue, I would respectfully leave. As I walked back to my car, I overheard his wife telling the other guests that were already there that the night was off because I made a huge scene at the door. Later, I got a group text from Alex saying he was canceling D&D night because it's not fair to expect everyone else to pretend like nothing happened. Some mutual friends say I overreacted and I should have just sucked it up, while others think that Alex and his wife were ridiculous for ruining everyone else's plans just because I decided not to stay. So am I the asshole? Edit. I should add that I texted our friend group chat a few days ago about my concerns with my condition because we changed the location of the meetup to his house instead of mine. Alex reassured me that I shouldn't worry about it, so I didn't bring my indoor shoes. Reddit has voted this person as an asshole.
The OP or the friend?
The OP.
How? He has a medical condition.
They said, don't know why you couldn't just cover your shoes with bags. Maintenance people do this all the time when they enter homes. It doesn't affect how well you walk, and it seems like it would have been a good compromise.
It's not a bag, though. They don't use bags. They use, like, booties.
You're the asshole. Disclosure, I'm from a part of Western Canada where it's unthinkable to wear shoes indoors. If you have a condition that requires you to wear shoes, then you need to bring your indoor shoes with you. Just a cute pair of lightweight sneaks in your bag and you're set. This is what we did in elementary school. It's the only option in a rainy climate. You even gave him options. OP didn't want to put bags, socks over his shoes because that's unsafe. I've never encountered such rudeness and audacity in my entire life. Maybe that's just the perks of living in Canada, but I can't imagine a guest behaving this way. I get that, like, you should come prepared if you have to make accommodations for yourself. But, like, really, like, I understand you've got to, maybe this is their first kid. That's all I got to say. We wear shoes in my house. My kids crawled across that carpet. Ain't nothing wrong with him.
I fear when this house is redone, I want to be a no-shoes house. I'm tired of dirt when I walk around the house. I'm sick of it.
I get it.
Or like that man comes in this house and tracks mud everywhere. I'm sick of it.
Are you going to say it's for the health of your cats?
It's for my mental health.
Do you have another one?
That one seems a little serious.
You want me to go to the next one?
No. Here's one that might.
I've got one that's kind of serious.
I don't know. This one. No, that one's kind of stupid. Yeah, go ahead.
Am I the asshole if I were to tell my husband that I don't want to have any relationship nor help him care for the child he fathered with his lover? I have mixed emotions about this one. So this says, I still can't believe this thing happened to me, and I'm just so lost and so tired now. I never expected for my husband to do this to me after everything we have. English is not my first language, and I'm still in shock, so please forgive me if there's some mess in my post. I'm just venting and feeling so broken. I've never used Reddit for things like this and just watched stories from the internet. Background. Me, 44 female, and my husband, 45 male, have been married for 2 decades, and we have 4 kids together. Female 23, Shane, female 23, B, female 22, Charles, male 17, and Ivan, male 13. All of our kids are adopted since I cannot carry a child to term, but I treat all of my kids as if I birthed them myself. Me and my husband have a wonderful relationship. We are high school sweethearts, dated in high school, and got married when we were in college. We rarely fight because we always address the issues we have and have always tried our best to fight for our relationship. We have date nights. Our kids cringe every time me and their dad are together because of how sticky we are and affectionate. We both have good jobs as well. I work in a high position at a call center while my husband works in tech, both earning good amount of money for us to provide a comfortable life for our children. And we have great intimacy. We are each other's first in everything. So imagine my shock when my husband told me this morning that he had a one-night stand with a coworker 9 years ago and it resulted with a boy. My husband told me that it happened when I was away on a trip with my girlfriends and he was feeling so lonely and stressed for a project at the time, but he didn't want to bother me while I'm out having fun because I rarely go out with my friends. He said that he didn't mean for it to happen and it never happened again, but I don't know if I believe him. According to him, after they did it, he and his AP spoke about, so I'm guessing the other person, spoke about how much of a mistake of what they did and that it shouldn't happen again. Since they never spoke to each other at work aside from when they have projects together, the AP ended up leaving their company after 2 months, so they never saw each other again. Now, just this morning, my husband told me that his AP's parents contacted him a month ago and told him that she became pregnant after they slept together and gave birth to a son. They said that they can no longer care for the boy since they are old and the AP is in jail for the foreseeable future. They wanted to still have the kid with them but won't be able to provide a good life for the child, so they wanted my husband to take in the child. I just became numb the entire time he's explaining to me. He told me of his plan to turn one of our guest rooms into that boy's room and wanted to introduce him to our kids as their new brother. Said that I would love the kid because he likes anime and we would definitely get along. My husband is completely ecstatic because he said the boy looks so much like him and is such a good kid that the boy would be grateful to have a normal life and have parents that would love him, which is, from what I'm thinking he's saying, me and him being the parents. I don't know what to do. I know the boy is completely innocent and he didn't choose his parents, but the fact that he knew about this child for a month yet hid it from me, and the fact that the boy is his blood-related child, which is something I can never give him, is making me feel so horrible and making me feel a bit resentful for the child's existence. I'm currently locking myself in our bedroom and he's been trying to get me to open the door, but I just wanted to cry to myself in here. I don't want to care for the child. I don't want to see the result of my husband's infidelity, but I also pity the boy. So am I the asshole? Edit. He already got a paternity test and the boy is in fact his. This is one of the questions I asked him earlier because I'm still hoping that the boy is not actually his and he was just being scammed and maybe we can move past this, but it's already been confirmed that the boy is his son. So I'm confused. One night stand 9 years ago and it resulted with the boy. So the child is 9 years old.
Yeah.
So the OP, it doesn't show whether they were voted asshole or not. Comments, not the asshole. Your husband massively betrayed you and now he's moving him in. Not cool.
Yeah.
Not the asshole.
I mean, it's also almost like two betrayals. Because, like, first of all, there was the one night stand. And then there's him finding out about this child and not confiding in her about it.
Right.
Immediately.
I don't know. See, this is one of those things because I've got such a big heart for kids most of the time. All the time. Kids, other people's kids do generally get on my nerves most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Not most of the time.
A lot of the time.
Yeah. Like there are some kids that I truly would take in if I needed to.
Yeah.
No issues. But like a betrayal of this magnitude and then like all of a sudden it's like bam, bam, bam. I've got a 9-year-old son from this one night stand that I had while you were out of town and the kid needs to come live with me.
Yeah. I feel like that would be something that I would have a very hard time getting past.
It's almost like you feel guilty because the kid needs...
Right. It's, like she said, it's not the kid's fault. The kid didn't do anything. It's really got nothing to do with the kid himself.
Right. But it'll be a constant reminder to you.
Yes. It's like a walking, talking reminder that your husband cheated on you.
Right.
I would have a very difficult time with that.
I think I would too.
But I think that if someone is currently in that situation and they're just, like, okay, let's keep it pushing. Let's, this is what we're doing now. I think that's quite commendable because I don't know that I could do that. I fear I would leave. I would dip like a tater chip. All right. Here's one that sounded
oh my god,
a little bit dramatic.
So long, but it sounds so funny. We got to do this one after yours.
Am I the asshole for saying it's not my problem if my ex and her husband can't afford their kids?
Bro, I almost did that one.
I, 30 male, was married to Marin, 30 female, and we have a son together who's now 8. When Marin was pregnant, I found out she was cheating on me with James, 33. James had a girlfriend who was pregnant at the same time. When my son was born, we needed a DNA test to find out if I was his father or James. As Marin's husband, I was the legal father, and that made it easier when the DNA test results showed he was actually mine, because she fought to name James his father. Things were toxic. James was there for everything in the later pregnancy and birth, and Marin told me nothing. Her parents were the ones who gave me info on when my son was born so I could file with the courts for a DNA test and custody, and our son's birth was also when our divorce could proceed. James's ex ended up giving him custody of their daughter, so they had her full time and my son 50% of the time. And a year and a half later, they had a daughter together. At this point, they have James's daughter and 4 children together. And I won custody of my son 3.5 years ago because in order to force more money out of me, they wouldn't feed him enough and let him wear dirty old clothes. And I only paid child support because I earned more than Marin. But we had equal parenting time back then. So now Marin sees our son every other weekend. My son's in therapy to help him with all the mess he's witnessed and been a part of in some way in his young life. Marin was also ordered to pay a small amount of child support, but has only paid a few times. She always uses the excuse that she can't afford it, and that might be true. I never push it because I can take care of my son without her. For the last 2-ish years, Marin has looked to me to buy extra school supplies and share them among the 2 school-aged among the two school-aged kids. So her stepdaughter and her first daughter with James. I have always ignored those requests and sent my son with supplies and donated a few to his class as requested. I have never bought a single thing for the other children in my ex's household. 2 weeks ago, my son had a small surgery and Marin showed up. Marin brought up the school supplies issue and asked me to please be decent about this and get some supplies for her girls because they couldn't afford them. She told me they struggle to support the kids they have as it is, and their other kids suffer. I tried to move away from her, but she followed me to another table, so I told her I don't care if they can't afford their other kids. I told her that her other children are not my responsibility, and she needs to figure something else out. I told her she already denied our kid food to try and get money out of me, and she lost most of her time with him as a result. And my priority was my kid, not the kids she keeps having. I told her I would not discuss it with her again, and I haven't, but she has sent many messages through the co-parenting app the courts have ordered us to use where she calls me an asshole and not a good dad to our kid. My lawyer knows. He tells me to keep ignoring her. And for those who might wonder, this will not remove her visitation with him. It was difficult enough to get primary custody after her denying our son enough food to try and make me pay more money. Unless my son is older and doesn't want to see her or CPS removes the other kids, nothing will change the visitation. Knowing all of this, am I the asshole?
Not the asshole.
No, that
her
seems
kids
to be...
that she keeps popping out are not your problem.
Yeah.
It sucks for those kids. They didn't
Right.
ask for that. But again, not your problem.
Yeah. She called you a bad father because you won't buy stuff for children that aren't yours. She's seriously insane.
Yeah.
Keep ignoring it, and if you have to get a restraining order, as this is harassment. I don't understand why they won't take away all visitation when she is abusing your child, or was abusing your child. The system is completely broken. Not the asshole. Does she know that you could go to court to get her to pay checks garnished for the back child support she owes? By her not paying the child support, she's already taking money from you. Now she wants you to give her more money to support her other children via school supplies? No. Not the asshole. That's a terrible backstory, but it doesn't matter. They're not your kids, so you have zero obligation. Yeah.
So the one I found a minute ago that sounded funny was funny but wasn't funny but was very long, but we're moving on to a different one because this one's funny as hell. Okay. My girlfriend wants to break up with me after I made her pee.
What?
I, male, 20, was hanging out with my girlfriend, female, 19. She was happy sitting on my lap. She has always liked sitting in my lap. She's a pretty affectionate person. She told me that she used to sit in her grandfather's lap as a little kid and that she liked the feeling of being held. Now here's where I messed up. She was sitting on my lap the other night and I decided to start tickling her. She usually likes this too, so it wasn't that weird. Then she wiggled out of my arms and started trying to tickle me, so I got up and started shuffling around to try and confuse her. She started laughing, cackling, crying with joy as I started doing a jaunty jig. I loved the sound of her laugh, so I amped it up until she hopped up on the couch to get away from me. Then, all of a sudden, she held out her hand and while laughing started saying, "Stop, stop." This wasn't out of the ordinary, and she said it in a tone of, "You're making me laugh too hard, I need to breathe," not actually wanting me to stop. So I continued my dance as she jokingly called me the pea goblin before her face fell.
Oh, no.
She then she peed on the couch. I mean, like a racehorse. She looked horrified, but the steady stream did not stop. That's when I started laughing because it was so unexpected and I haven't made someone laugh that hard before. Her whole face turned red as she ran out of the room. I knew she was upset, so I tried to cheer her up by following her into the bathroom and dancing again. She laughed and smiled, so I thought all was well. and it was just something we would laugh about later. But tonight she kept squirming away from me when I tried pulling her into my lap. I asked her what was wrong, and after a while, she told me she was really upset about peeing on her couch. She said her parents noticed the smell even after she tried to clean it, and she ended up needing to admit what she did. I offered to buy her a new pet so she could say it was the pet instead of her, but she wasn't taking my idea. She said she already admitted her doings to her parents, and the damage was done. I told her that it was honestly pretty funny and nothing to be embarrassed over, because who doesn't pee on their couch at least once? Come on, guys, you've all done it before. So have I. Nothing to be ashamed of. But she wouldn't let it go. She kept telling me I was being dismissive to her accident and that I should put myself in her shoes. Now she refuses to sit in my lap because of all this. She said she wasn't comfortable with me trying to get her to sit in my lap anymore, and even mentioned wanting to end the relationship over this.
Oh my God.
We've only been dating for around 3 months, and I was about ready to tell her I love her for the first time. I don't want the relationship to end, and I honestly think she's overreacting because she's embarrassed. Am I the asshole? Edit, I helped clean after. When I left her in the bathroom, I started cleaning. She joined me later. Comments. I hate to break it to you, but I, like many people, have never pissed on my couch. The issue isn't the pee. She told you. The issue is that you're being dismissive of her embarrassment. Listen to her without trying to solve the problem or move the relationship past it.
Yeah.
You're the asshole. She said stop. You didn't. Great. You have context to why you didn't. You put her in an embarrassing position because you disregarded what she said. I'm always a tad confused when people ignore what others say, but then get surprised by the consequences.
That is true. Yeah.
You're the asshole. I knew she was upset, so I tried to cheer her up by following her into the bathroom and dancing again. What? You have the sensitivity and empathy of a gnat. When people go to the bathroom, that's a signal that they want some privacy and some space. What they don't want is some clown forcing his way in on them to dance at them. Yeah. My 4-year-old grandchild knows this. Why don't you? Being completely dismissive of her very reasonable embarrassment and of the problems that has raised for her with her parents is just the final red flag in the parade of red flags. Of course she doesn't want to be with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're the asshole. That is just gross, and you didn't listen to her. You went too far because you wanted to push the boundaries. And no, I've never peed on my furniture. I've genuinely never peed on a couch before, but you're the asshole.
Yeah.
Important lesson. No means no.
Yeah, that is a pretty good one.
Info. When did you pee on your sofa? Info for the whole thread. When did any of you have your pee on the sofa milestone? I'm worried I haven't developed them normally. Seriously, though, OP, it isn't normal to pee on furniture.
Yeah.
The literal fuck did I just read? I offered to buy her a pet is my favorite bit. Solid 8 out of 10 creative writing exercise.
I'm done. I'm done.
I do like these. I think this is fun.
Yeah, I did like it. I just feel like I've had enough.
All right. So don't forget about our nonprofit for the month, which is the National Alliance to End Homelessness. We're just trying to get these people off the streets, y'all.
Yeah.
So check that out. Meanwhile, follow us on Facebook,
Instagram,
TikTok,
YouTube.
You can email us things such as episode ideas, conversations you'd like to hear about,
Dear Wanderers, and then
advice things.
Yeah. I'm really pumped about that. I really hope we get some in the next month.
You can send those to. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if we do, I'd like to just do one an episode.
Okay.
Unless we start getting a lot, and then we might have to do a couple.
You can email those to wandersofweird
@gmail.com.
Okay, bye.
Bye.